This video is called The Heir War and the Sacred Principles of Not Replacing the Divine Order. And of course, sacred timing. So first one must understand how we got to this point to realize why you can't start over. Let's kill that idea first of all. That's false hope. People have been evolving for thousands of years. Naturally. Hundreds of thousands of years. Before that, God arose them naturally from the earth. You can't, grab a few pieces of scrap metal and say, hey, that's the top martial artist. This is something that came from a long period of time without evil people intervening scientifically. Okay, any emergence came naturally from natural martial arts combat, and then over time in natural African cultures. Eventually my dad came here from a natural African culture, and he brought forth the last top martial artist, the last valid top martial artist. Science will hopelessly intervene and taint the process, and there's no starting over. There's no killing me and starting over. There's no not allowing me to raise a son in the divine order and starting over. It ends with me. There's no way around it. Okay. So again, this video is about the Heir War, Haro Aries, right? Horus the Elder, Horus son of Ra, the one Narmer fellow. Okay. The Heir War and the sacred principles of not replacing the divine order and timing. Remember, religions, philosophies, systems, atheism, all these systems that are allowed to exist of beliefs, values, and philosophies are basically there to distract you from the obvious moral lessons in life. And when you look at it that way, it becomes very clear what they're doing and why. There's no mistaking, and it has to do with women and money and so on and so forth. So the truth is in understanding what the principles of good and evil actually are. Snaking or cheating people out of their rightful places is the highest principle of evil. And restoring and maintaining divine order is the only way to be good, not just the highest principle of good. And of course, this can only be done by obeying the top martial artist. People are here to identify the true leader, the true representative of God, and to obey him. That's why Jesus said, beware of false prophets. Right? It's in the Bible somewhere, one way or another, whoever said it, right? Because you're not supposed to let these liars in church, these racists in church, these corporate sponsored people in church and elsewhere lead you astray. Okay? If you don't understand the wolves in sheep's clothes argument, you're insane. If you ignore it, you're evil. One must put morality before culture and the principles of good before family. To a martial artist, a true martial artist, this is a no-brainer. This is not new to a hero. Only to peasants and cowards and so on and so forth does this have to be truly emphasized. One must put morality before culture and the principles of good before family. Yeah, I'll be there. Of course, they fucking interfere, The sacred principle of timing has everything to do with the E meaning temple in Sumer/Babylon. Seal, lay ease. Deal and lead being deal scrambled. Can one rely on the natural ability to identify the top martial artists in the future with substances, surveillance, organized corruption, and sabotage considered? The eye of a needle and the eye of a camel. The eye of a needle and the camel, aka the rich man parable, and a needle in a haystack are connected. The Bible is by ball because secret societies, scientists and academics with church groups and society allies keep the truth concealed. If you do it their way, your path is too slow, especially if you are one of them. You're moving too slow. You have to think fast, identify this guy, move effectively to serve him and obey him to make it to heaven. Right? That's what life is about. Identify the good guy, just like a woman having to identify a good mate, or a man having to identify a good mate. Timing, right? What are you missing? Sing, right? The romantic songs. Who are they singing to? The women, right? And vice versa. Okay. So remember, the hero naturally emerges. Look at the Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee example. He did it their way, and he brought forth a child, and that child paled in comparison to him. Why was that? Because he doesn't have the genes expression of a pharaoh, whose genes are going to emerge this ideal kind of form of martial art man. Okay, you know, he was just an actor's child, and then he married some kind of blonde chick, with all due respect, right? And he had this mediocre child that could not perform as effectively. The spirit was not conveyed. He relied on the energy and of the temple, and he followed their worldly way, and as a result, he had a worldly child. Okay, he was more killed symbolically and to confuse you about what a hero really is, than because he's actually a hero. Okay. We'll have to go now and we'll explore in the comments or something. Another way to simply explain it is wrong to cheat a bloodline out of its inheritance, and the martial art order is inclined to have a deep reverence for these people. Okay, if this guy has already said there's not going to be another top martial artist after him, it's open and shut. And one must consider why he's saying this. When you consider the rapes, the reproductive cycle, the direction, who did what and why, the scientific calculated betrayal, it is open and shut. Consider that the wordplay is designed to get people to think differently in a way that causes them to disassociate with reality and nature and supernature. It is good to explain to people who aren't martial artists why Horus is the archetype of Pharaoh. To a true martial artist, it's obvious. You don't side with these people. You find the true martial art teacher, you attach yourself to him, and you go down with the boat, right? The solar boat, so to speak, right? On the way to heaven, you go down with him. Okay, it's open and shut. The wordplay is for people who don't understand. It's like, look, the play in life is an act, right? Lay, who you're sleeping with, lead, deal scrambled. It's for people who don't have the intensity of thought, right? Who can't understand the difference between a lukewarm relationship at best and a hot relationship. The relationship with the true martial arts and the true spiritual reality, the true spirit of reality, true spirit of righteousness is hot compared to a cold relationship, or a lukewarm, which is somebody who's a functionalist, who is outside the divine order. He's lukewarm at best, if that. Due to extreme interference and extreme lack of worthiness from other bloodlines, this is my last video. As I was saying earlier, it is wrong to cheat someone out of their inheritance, and if a group of people works to cheat my bloodline so that their group can be elevated, they're more unworthy than everyone else. Okay, so nobody's worthy, and there's a spectrum of unworthiness. And this has everything to do with morals, right? Where morals matter most is restoring the divine order. What groups of people are benefiting and enjoying the blood of the saints, so to speak, right? What group of people is driving nice cars and putting their nose up at other people and are allowed to look good because they've benefited the most in a calculated, cunning, typical temple of set fashion, right? Certainly these people are not worthy mates, even after the divine order is over with. If people have any value, any human decency, they won't go that yuppie route. They won't go the people who are allowed to look good route. It's simple as the lion is the king of the jungle, okay? He refuses to settle for less. When pure evil scum are the governing class, and nobody denies that in this time period, right? Obviously, the lion is not going to bear this second-class citizenship, this second-rate, this non-leadership position. Obviously, Donald Trump and no president we have has ever been a lion or a martial artist. Okay. So obviously, when we see this thing, right, they're going to merge like my father did, or his father before him, right, as a noble and as kings, or he's going to emerge, as a martial artist. And that's when it really ends, when the martial artist insists on being a martial artist. And it is a matter of timing, okay? So obviously the females are the main ill-gotten gain when you look at this thing in terms of something other than the divine order, right? Obviously there's no divine order after I'm gone, but the females, so they have to give that up. They have to give up their money. They have to give up the attractive females. They're not going to do that because they're fixated on betraying God for money and attractive females, right? The harlot, right? This is also seen as a place of worshiping pagan rape cults. Look up the harlot, right? It is a place, right? So all these things considered, it's open and shut, and I'm done making videos. I'll add to the comments.